For a lot of folks, that's going to involve football, right? Big weekend for college football, kicking off the games here with the weather that will affect your tailgate and your game. So Paul Goodlow is live in Atlanta, where the Yellow Jackets take the field tonight here at Georgia Tech. And Paul, I know you're going to talk about, I hope you're going to talk about how they get those lines so straight and so evenly spaced. I see the guy working behind you. Great, I'll take that, Paul, but just not on that grass, right? It's brand new grass, but on that field for sure.
Not this grass, yeah, different grass.
All right, Paul Goodlow, thank you. And, you know, Paul was talking about the weather in Atlanta, heat dismissal for heat. All right, let's take a look outside. We take a look at Boston. It looks gorgeous right now. We're going to have another warm day today. Backdoor front coming in, cools us down for the weekend, a couple of days where temperatures in the 70s, and then we warm back up. So watching the pattern that we're in with this, you know, big ridge of high pressure, it's meant a lot of heat for a lot of folks. Minneapolis, Chicago, all have been with temperatures in the 90s. New York and Philly and D.C., same deal. But keep an eye on this backdoor front coming in. You'll see the change today. Burlington, Boston in the 80s, and you compare that to temperatures in the 90s today in D.C. Tomorrow, you'll get that through New York City, and we'll get that east wind, which normally I'm not a huge fan of the east wind, but it will cool us off in New York City, give us a break from that really oppressive heat and really humid conditions that we have been having. And then we take a look at what's going on for us across New York City for the weekend. 82 on Saturday, beautiful, 85 on Sunday. We do warm up on Monday, back to 89 degrees. All right, we are going to talk about the concern in the southeast this weekend. But let's talk about the Great Lakes, too. You know, we do get rip current concerns sometimes up here in the Great Lakes once we get some big wind that moves over the lakes. Not the case today. I think today your story is the heat in Chicago, thinking about Oak Street Beach. You might want to think about it. Temperatures heading to 90 again today in Chi-Town. All right, but let's look at some of your climo here, some of your weather history when it comes to Labor Day weekend. Chicago, 97 is your record high for Labor Day. 44 is your coldest Labor Day. So a big range that we could have. And of course, we've had some rain before. You go back in Chicago and look at all of your Labor Days. There have only been 9 times where the temperature has hit 90 or higher. We're going to come close. We're not going to quite be there. And I know we've hit 90 yesterday. We're going to probably hit 90 again today. But we've got a front approaching by the end of the weekend. So by Labor Day, that front, I think, is going to bring enough clouds and enough of a risk of thunderstorms that it knocks down our temperature to 86 degrees. Still pretty warm and humid, though. And that's your story for Labor Day in Chicago, is that it's going to be a warm one. That's how you'll remember this one and how you'll make your plans, too, is planning for the heat. Temperatures above average in Minneapolis, Des Moines, and St. Louis and Kansas City. Look at St. Louis, 96 degrees today, much more like July than September. And, you know, these numbers aren't necessarily record-breaking, but they're well above average, and we keep it, Minneapolis, we keep it 89 degrees for you tomorrow. A little bit cooler around the lakes up here, 80 in Green Bay, and Chicago will spend a day in the 80s. All right, let's look at Minneapolis. And we've got today warm, tomorrow warm, Saturday also warm, but then storms come in on Sunday. Again, that's that front, the fall front coming in that will break the big heat wave that we've got going on in the Midwest. And so a huge change from the weekend to Monday. So your Labor Day is still beautiful, but temperatures are just going to be cooler. Temperatures topping out in the upper 70s. St. Louis, let's look at you. We've got temperatures very warm. It's going to be hot and humid all through the weekend, Sunday. And then Monday, the front approaches. Not through just yet, though. So we'll keep the heat around, and we'll also keep that risk of thunderstorms around. So, guys, we got a busy weekend ahead.
We do. We got a busy day for as long as they have Vermont
maple
syrup.
That's right. What kind of season we're going to have this year? What do you think?
That's an interesting question. Because we've got a drought, and then we get into next spring. I mean, we'll see how the spring goes. It's really all relying on the temperature in the spring.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. But let's talk about what's happening here as we take a look at that Midwest forecast. We're going to actually go out to the West, and you know, we've been talking a lot about the heat in the Northeast and Midwest. What's going to break that heat is what's happening here at Mini Glacier at Glacier National Park. So it is 41 chilly degrees right now. The wind chill is 36 degrees. Oh boy. Yeah, so the seasons are changing. In fact, big changes from what you've had recently. Montana, you know, big state, right? In the eastern end of the state yesterday, 102. And now we're looking at temperatures that are feeling like the mid-30s right now over in Glacier National Park. So big changes coming for Yellowstone as well. Look at our forecast. We're going to be in the upper 60s today, tomorrow. Great time to do a little sightseeing. But if you're planning on camping here, be ready for a huge change from Saturday to Sunday. High of 60 with thunderstorms on Saturday. Sunday, snowflakes in the morning and temperatures struggling to get to 50. That's the kind of front we are talking about. This is a big fall cold front that's going to be moving in. Behind it, cooler temperatures are going to be allowed to move into the upper Midwest. We'll see changes there. There will also be some more rain showers across the Northwest. And, you know, we so badly need to, at the very least, raise the relative humidity, get more clouds around, get more rain around, and don't bring the thunderstorms to us in the Northwest so we can help with the firefight. And so we will get the kind of weather pattern that does that. Hopefully we don't get too much in the way of thunderstorms and just more in the way of plain old rain in Idaho and parts of Wyoming as well, and into Montana. Now, once we shift everything into the northern plains, look at Bismarck. We've got some heat to talk about before we get there. You can see 100 today, but then steadily we'll see temperatures drop off a little bit. And once that front crashes in, then we're talking temperatures 10 degrees below average, only in the 60s. And you think of temperatures like that, you think of football, right, Jim Cantori? The Texas San Antonio Roadrunners tonight. And we could see scenes like this. This is what's going on lately here in southern Arizona. And Cantori, this was tweeted to you. What a great picture. Stormy Twilight is what the title is of this picture. And you see so much. The thunderstorm, the lightning, the rain shaft, not one, but two. The sunset, I mean, just amazing, right?
That's a gorgeous shot, Jen. Absolutely gorgeous.
The monsoon has been busy here across the Southwest lately, and it's about to get a little extra boost, kind of like a booster shot of some added moisture into it. So what we're going to be dealing with is some extra moisture coming up here from the Pacific into portions of Arizona and New Mexico. What is that, and where is it coming from? Kevin. Yes, this thing finally got its act together, enough to be called Tropical Storm Kevin. Regardless, though, of whether it was just a tropical depression or a tropical storm, some of the moisture from it is going to get drawn up here into portions of Arizona and New Mexico. Now, we got to see exactly where most of that goes. There is a little upper level low that's moving through Southern California that doesn't have a lot of moisture with it, and that's helping to kind of steer the moisture up into Arizona. But Tucson, we do have a chance to get more showers and storms, and like we've seen lately, any of those could put down some real heavy downpours, but they're isolated in nature. It's not a complete coverage everywhere of thunderstorm activity. Tonight, we'll see some of that threat continuing, especially over into New Mexico as well. For Tucson, chance today, chance again tomorrow, and again, it's an afternoon kind of twilight kind of thing for us when it comes to those thunderstorms. Saturday, we get a break. Guys, back to you.
So unless you're living under a